The Divine Revelation in the Forest. It was in May 1947. Torrential rains fell relentlessly over Dahomey, flooding villages and submerging the plains. Samuel Elihu Joseph Achofa, who was then trading ebony wood, found himself compelled to venture deep into the forest in search of precious timber, accompanied by a few companions. But what was meant to be a simple commercial expedition would become a spiritual turning point in the history of the world. For several days, the waters kept rising, isolating the men within the forest. Their supplies soon ran out. A mystical silence reigned beneath the drowned trees, and sunlight filtered only faintly through the mist and humid veil. In the midst of this trial, Samuel felt a strange peace, as if an invisible presence surrounded him. Then, a supernatural event occurred. While his companions, gripped by fear, had lost their way, Samuel found himself alone in the heart of the forest. There, in the silence of the trees and the murmur of the waters, a radiant light descended from the sky. A voice was heard, clear, gentle, yet filled with celestial authority. "Fear not, for I am with you. I have chosen you for a mission that no man has ever received before you. Through you, I shall manifest my power and my glory. You shall be the channel of light to this world plunged in darkness." Samuel fell to his knees, trembling in awe and humility. He felt a new strength fill him, like an inner fire. When he opened his eyes, he realized he was no longer the same man. A spiritual transformation had taken place. He could now see through the light of the Spirit and hear the voice of God within his heart. On the third day, another extraordinary sign appeared. A luminous bird descended and perched on a nearby branch. The bird sang with a voice resembling a heavenly melody, and at that moment, Samuel understood that God had given him a sign of divine covenant. Once again, the light of heaven surrounded him, and a profound peace filled his entire being. When at last the floodwaters receded, Samuel emerged from the forest, changed forever. The villagers were astonished at the brightness of his face, radiant like that of Moses coming down from Mount Sinai. He told them of the wonders that God had revealed to him. That very day, several sick people were healed simply by his touch, and the blind regained their sight. Miracles multiplied, and the news spread throughout the land. The divine mission confirmed. A few days later, in a night vision, the Spirit of God spoke to him again. "I have appointed you as the founder of my church upon this earth. It shall be called the Celestial Church of Christ. Through it, I shall purify the world and gather my scattered children. It shall be the last ark of salvation before the end of time." Samuel Achofa then received clear instructions. The faithful would wear white garments, symbolizing purity. Songs and praises would be inspired directly from heaven. Prophecies, visions, and healings would testify to God's living presence among his people. Thus, upon his return to Makoko, he obeyed the divine command and began the celestial ministry, accompanied by those who believed in the message. The first worship services were simple, filled with humility and fervent faith. But the power of God manifested itself in visible and glorious ways. The possessed were delivered, the sick were healed, and hearts were transformed. The Celestial Church of Christ was born, not from human will, but from a heavenly revelation. And since that day, its light has never ceased to shine, carrying to the world the message of universal salvation, founded on holiness, prayer, and brotherly love.
In the forest he walks alone. Under the rain his heart holds on. Young Samuel, humble and strong, seeking the wood, his faith goes on. Light from heaven shining bright, God came down in holy light. The forest bowed, hearts awoke in prayer. Born was the church, his work to share. Alone in water the sky unfolds, a voice from heaven, truth untold. White dove descending, pure and fair, faith and miracles fill the air. Light from heaven shining bright, God came down in holy light. The forest bowed, hearts awoke in prayer. Born was the church, his work to share. word shines bright, His power revealed. Samuel walks where the Spirit leads to plant the church with holy seeds. Light from heaven shining bright, the forest bowed, hearts awoke in prayer. Born was the church, His word to share. In the forest he walks alone, Nibona orin lodokana. Under the rain his faith holds on, Nigbati ojongro okan reduro titi. Young Samuel, humble and strong, Samuel kekere onirele alagbara. Seeking the wood where faith belongs, OYG Nitori bagbore.
Light from heaven shining bright, Imole latoron untangwamba. God came down in holy light, Ọlọ́run sọ̀kalẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìmọ́lẹ̀ mímọ́.
The forest bowed, hearts were stirred, Igbowole ọkàn gbogbo jí sárin. Born was the church, His work on earth. Ìjọ Nábì, iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ayé.
Alone in water, the heavens part. Naomi, ọ̀run CCC. A voice divine spoke to his heart. Ohùn ọ̀run sọ̀rọ̀ sí ọkàn rẹ̀.
White dove came, the sign was clear. Ẹyẹ funfun dé, àmì mímọ́ yẹ. Faith and wonders did appear. Ìgbàgbọ́ àti àánú bẹ̀rẹ̀ láìpẹ́.
Light from heaven shining bright, ìmọ́lẹ̀ látọ̀run untangwamba. God came down in holy light, Ọlọ́run sọ̀kalẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìmọ́lẹ̀ mímọ́.
The forest bowed, hearts were stirred. Igbowole ọkàn gbogbo jí sárin. Born was the church, His work on earth. Ìjọ Nábì, iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ayé.
The village amazed, the sick are healed. Abúlé yà lẹ́nu àrùngbàwọ̀.
God's word shines bright in the field. Ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run tàn bí ìmọ́lẹ̀ lọ́dún.
Samuel